Good afternoon. The crisis in the Middle East is extremely concerning. We're worried about the developments and the consequences of further escalation, including for New Zealanders. We acknowledge the developments of the last 24 hours, including President Donald Trump's announcement of US attacks on nuclear facilities in Iran. New Zealand continues to advocate for diplomacy and dialogue. Ongoing military action in the Middle East is extremely worrying, and it's critical further escalation is avoided. We strongly support efforts towards diplomacy and urge all parties to return to talks. Iran's nuclear activities have long worried New Zealand. We want Iran to comply with its international obligations. Our concern is that military and further military action is not going to deliver a sustainable solution to this problem. We're a long way from the region, but New Zealand will continue to convey these messages in favour of diplomacy and dialogue directly to Iran, Israel and the other parties involved in possible talks. Meanwhile, the government is committed to pursuing all options for assistance for New Zealanders stranded in Israel and Iran. Officials are working around the clock on these issues, and we have deployed a response team to the region. As part of that effort, we are today announcing the deployment of a C-130 Hercules aircraft to the region to stand ready to assist if needed. We're also in discussions with commercial airlines to see whether and how they might be able to assist. Airspace in Israel and Iran remains heavily restricted, so for now repatriation flights are not possible. But the situation is changing every day. This deployment means MFAT and the New Zealand Defence Force will be ready to support New Zealanders if the chance arises. The fact remains that reliable airspace reopenings across the region could be weeks away, and options are extremely limited while military attacks continue. That is why we continue to recommend New Zealanders in Israel and Iran do everything they can to leave now if they can find a safe route. Any New Zealanders that need assistance to leave Iran or Israel should contact MFAT immediately. These are messages we've repeated for a long time now. Now, Minister Collins will talk more about the deployment before we take any questions. Minister Collins.
Well, thank you, Minister Peters, and thank you everyone for coming today. But most of all, thank you to our New Zealand Defence Force personnel who are preparing to leave on this deployment. They exemplify the courage, commitment and integrity our people show day in, day out. They never hesitate to go where others are fleeing, whether on an international situation such as this one or in a domestic emergency where floodwaters are rising and people need to be rescued. We hope that our people in aircraft are not needed. The diplomatic efforts will prevail and the danger levels drop enough for New Zealanders in the Middle East to get themselves to a safer place. But we stand ready to help should it be needed, as we always have done and always will be. Who can ever forget the images of our old C-130H Hercules evacuating people in need from Kabul, Afghanistan? Those old workhorses have now been fully retired after 60 years service to New Zealand and New Zealanders, and in their place we have the bigger, better, faster C-130Js that you see behind us. However, it will take several days to get to the Middle East from Auckland, with wheels up scheduled for tomorrow. Airspace in Israel and Iran remains heavily restricted, which means getting people out by aircraft is not yet possible. But by positioning an aircraft and personnel in the region, we will be able to do more when airspace reopens. This is, as we all know, a fast-moving situation, and as I've said, we hope that we are not needed. But if we are, our people will be there, and they will, as always, do us proud.